I can't believe I got in right away. First time, long time. This is Celeste from Portland, Oregon, and I was going to call in and talk about our candidate across the border, Joe Kent. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this guy. He's a kind of a far-right chud who used to kind of street brawl with the Patriot prayer folks around here, and he's a former Green Beret, former CIA. And all of this has been out in the open, and he was the one that defeated Jamie Herrera Butler in her primary. So
and she had voted for impeachment. Is that right?
She did, and
Yep.
she also was the one that told the press that Kevin McCarthy, I think it was, had said that they didn't like the crowd didn't appreciate Mike Pence as much as. I can't remember what the threat was, but it was basically like, yeah.
He basically said Herrera Beutler leaked the comments that McCarthy told her that Trump basically said him and Pence weren't fighting hard enough to overturn the results, which is why they were coming to attack them, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she lost her race, and this guy, who is completely unqualified, he'd only lived in the district, I think, since 2019. It was basically selected by someone to run in this race, and no one apparently until this last week, a reporter from the Daily Beast finally looked into this company that claims to have employed him.
Yeah, he's
called American Enterprise Solutions.
Right, and he identified it a bunch of different times, and now it's just basically the indications is that it's made up, right?
Well, and from what I understand, the guy's like he said he made like $100 and I don't know if it was like $130,000, $150,000, somewhere around there from this company, and the company doesn't exist, and so people are like, where'd the money come from? How do people know? Like, how did people know about his salary? Was that just they released their tax things, or?
Yeah, it was on his financial disclosure forms as American Enterprise Solutions with $115,000 both last year and this year, and his donations to other candidates was listing that as his employer. So after this news report came in, and all of our other local reporters were like, I wonder why nobody's ever looked into this before. So somebody started scrambling, and yesterday Joe Kent's campaign team came up with advanced enterprise solutions on his forms, which actually has a shell company called Advanced Enterprise Solutions in Reston, Virginia, an address that is just a virtual desk somewhere. So lots of questions about who's been paying Joe Kent.
I mean, yeah.
Is he still working for the CIA? I have a feeling that he's kind of dumb enough that he got a fake business to say that he was a part of, and just forgot the name and has just been putting it down wrong on all of his forms.
Only the best people for the CIA. I mean, has anybody actually looked into whether or not he actually worked for the CIA?
Yeah, that's been out, and he has a book out. His wife was killed in a roadside bomb.
Oh, jeez. They
were both in the Green Berets, or he was a Green Beret, and then he was in CIA, and so he wrote a book about all of this. So I would assume that his, some part of that would have been vetted at some point, but that story. But the who is American? In Reston, Virginia, like, is that a defense contractor? Highly likely, or still CIA, or a partner of both. And there's a lot of people, going back to the earlier interview, around here are speculating that it's a Peter Thiel shell, which I kind of doubt. This guy's really militaristic and less. And he's just kind of a street thug, He's not.
Why
like
would he need a shell,
guy,
right, for that kind of stuff? It seems shadier than that. I mean, Peter Thiel is pretty open about his investment in certain candidates. Did you, Celeste? Did you see that Tulsi was in town for Joe Kent recently?
Oh yeah. 2 days she spent with him. tooling around small towns in Southwest Washington.
Let me ask you this. Like, when Tulsi Gabbard comes in there, I mean, I guess it raises the profile. I would imagine, like, local news covered it, right? Does she?
Well, Portland News didn't cover it. They might have gotten a little more coverage up in Washington, but our news market is the same.
I just wonder, like,
Washington.
Does Tulsi Gabbard? And this is a sincere question. Does she bring value to a candidate, or does her being with the candidate bring value to her? Like, usually it's both, right? I mean, everybody, like, but yeah. I just wonder in this instance, like, I guess if you're Joe Kent, you're like, anybody who's on Tucker Carlson can't be a bad thing for have them come campaign for me. I just wonder, like, locally, if that. I don't know.
I didn't really get that much coverage. I think this is kind of a solidification of a particular cadre. The Tucker Carlson military types. One of his staffers, one of Joe Kent's former staffers, came out in the OPB piece and said that he basically never, just this fake job that he had, he never did any work for. So, like, his former staffers are out there saying that, he's always just been this grifter, basically.
Wow.
I don't know.
All right. Well, appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, so we don't know. I mean, the candidate that he's running against is doing a pretty good late-stage campaign, out cutting wood with a chainsaw and, doing things like that. But it's a pretty red district, and, it has changed a little bit over the years. But, Herrera Butler has endorsed the Democrat, which is interesting.
Right. Well, I hope Perez pulls it off.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thanks for the call.
All right. Cheers. Thanks.
Bye.